everybody, welcome back. This is Wingman's Hangar, episode 36. If you're new to the show, this is kind of an inside look at everything Cloud Imperium Games and the making of Star Citizen. This is going to be a little different episode this week. We just got back from Germany. In fact, I got back last night at about 9 o'clock and still a little jet lagged from the experience, but it was amazing. And we're going to show you a little bit about that coming up. So be prepared. It's going to be a good episode, a little different than the usual format, but I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Coming up this week, we have the Week in Review, which will review the week in Germany in Gamescom. We'll talk a little bit about that. We have a very special edition of Forum Feedback, shot live at the Hyatt Bier Garden last Friday with the fans, with some of the fans that came to the event. It was, well, I'd rather than talk about it, I just want to show it to you because I think you guys will be blown away. We also have a hyperkinetic reading from this week's Jump Point magazine with our own Alistaire Fitzsmithy, something I think you'll like. So let's just get right to it, shall we? The Week in Review. We can start with what I'm wearing. Fan gifts. You guys are amazing. We keep getting all kinds of cool stuff. We got this robe. These are robes. I mean, I'd stand up and show you, but I might come out of the frame. Look at the back of this thing. You guys see? Can you see that? Isn't that incredible? The gifts we get from you guys are amazing. We got this banner at Gamescom signed by a lot of the fans that came to see it. You can see all the signatures there. And then, of course, we got a keg of beer last night because we're all crunching. So, yes. Okay, I didn't actually drink that because, yes, I know I'm back on my diet. But the point is, we're saving that keg for later because we're about to finish the hangar. We're locking down the code in about 15 minutes. We're going to be final testing and we'll be releasing it. Well, by the time you get this, it will have been released and hopefully you guys like it. We have, check out that's not all on the fan gifts. We also got this because people know we're crunching. You guys are amazing. Take a look at this.
So it looks like people have heard how hard we've been working. They wanted to send us some treats to enjoy as we kick ass on this last day before release. This came from Stelnick. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you so
much. Wolf, what can I say, man? You know us too well. You know, but it's so beautiful, man. Look at this cake. He gave us a cake. I love you, man. Fans are good. We're working so hard for you. Here's to Star Citizen and awesome stuff to come. Prost! Cheers. Prost. Prost.
Wow, I mean, it's humbling, to be honest with you. It's just humbling. So, this week in review, man, it was all about Gamescom. We took a big crew there. We had about 8 of us. We had a couple of events there. Chris was busy all week with doing tons and tons of interviews with the press, which, you know, there was a little bit of talk about why we do these things with the press. Well, let me just explain that a little bit. When we do something with the press, we give them a little exclusive. That brings more people to the website. It gets more citizens involved in the game, and therefore the experience gets better for all of us. So sometimes you get about 90% of the stuff will come out on the website first, but some of it we got to give as teasers to the press, as exclusives, so they'll cover us, which, you know, it's typical stuff. I'm sure you guys all knew that already anyway. But anyway, Gamescom was amazing. There was about 275,000 fans at the event, walking around, having a good time, checking out all the games. And we were just, oh, and by the way, we got voted the most anticipated or the coolest looking game at Gamescom. And all we had was a little presentation room inside the Crytek booth, which means that people are actually really starting to understand what we're about. They're like getting in on the deal as we're going forward, and they're jumping on the bandwagon. And it's all thanks to you guys because you're helping us spread the word. Our marketing is you. You guys are literally the army of people that are out there talking about us, and we appreciate that. So Gamescom was amazing. We had the Beer Garden Trivia Challenge. That was fantastic. We sat there and we asked some obscure questions. We asked some easy ones. We gave out UEE tattoos to everybody. We expected about 30 people at the Beer Garden, and it was over 200 that showed up. And it was really an intimate experience for everybody. We got a chance to, people brought hookahs. They brought the lamp. They had posters and citizen cards, and they had their own shirts that they made. It was just an incredible experience. It was really a nice down to earth, rub elbows with everybody. And the cool thing about this is being a developer on the product is that we are actually, everybody here is just like you. So it's kind of like everybody is all in the same boat looking forward to what we're all doing together. And I think that energy comes across. It was a beautiful thing. The Beer Garden event was a blast. By the way, yes, we realized, we read the comments, it's not a church, Michael, it's a cathedral. Isn't it, Michael?
Yes, that's right.
There you go. We realized that. And by the way, if you ever get a chance to go to Cologne in German, how was that? Scheiße. Was incredible. You've got to see this church / cathedral, sorry. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's built in the 1300s. Unbelievable. By now, the hangar will have hit the streets. And hopefully, you guys are enjoying it as we speak. Now, don't be hitting us up with CS tickets. There's a button on there to hit, which generated a forum. You guys need to put your support issues in there. And we'll be patching. I think we're releasing the hangar tonight, which is Thursday. We're shooting this Thursday for tomorrow's airing. And then we'll be trying to put a patch out on Friday. And then we have Labor Day weekend over here in the U.S. So we'll be closed for 3 days, which will give people a chance to try it out, get their issues, put it up on the forums, and for us to put those in the proper order so we can get to those next week. It's going to be really a cool thing. Wingman's weight. Well, started out at, let's see, 236 pounds. Had made it all the way down to 111. Well, after Germany, I gained, 5 pounds. But you know what? That was the most fun I've ever had, gaining 5 pounds, and I'm sure it'll go away. It was all hanging out, having some beers with people. The schnitzel was fantastic. I think I ate at this one restaurant 3 times for the schnitzel with mushrooms and gravy. Whew, was that good. Anyway, it's awesome. We're going back on the diet. I got the scale. Oh my God, I got to show you this scale. Be right back. Yeah, I am back. So check this out. Somebody made us a scale. A Star Citizen, Wingman's weight citizen scale. I mean, the creativity out there with you guys is amazing. It measures in kilograms, so it makes me feel thinner, even if I'm not quite there yet. Again, we had the Beer Garden. It was a great event. The event we did on Saturday with 1,200 people was amazing. You'll see the clip. If you haven't seen it, you can go to Twitch TV, or I think we're going to transpose it up on YouTube as well. You can watch it. I highly recommend watching it. The energy level of the citizens out there is palatable. It just makes you so excited to be working on this project. The team in Austin and LA and Montreal and Monterey were killing themselves for it. Watching stuff like that and getting the gifts they get, it just makes you feel like you are part of something special, and that really is down to you guys. So it's unbelievably humbling, and we cannot thank you enough. So you know what time it is, right? Well, let's let the crowd tell you.
What time is it?
All right. Who has the first question? Where am I going? All right, we'll come over here, sir. We'll come on over here. What's your forum name? Over here? Where are we at? Here? Where? Here. Oh, you're pointing at him. Chicken. What's your question? What's your name first?
I am Bargle on the forums.
Bargle has a question for Mr. Roberts. What would it be?
So myself and a few other people I work with, we're air traffic controllers with the U.S. military.
Okay.
And we kind of had a question, is there going to be any way to kind of integrate that into, large-scale space battles? Will there be some sort of radar display that we can use to direct our friends to attack our enemies?
So the short answer is yes, in the bigger ships, so like the Corvette and the bigger ones we go beyond that, they have sort of a combat information center set up. Or like if you saw in the Corvette, there was a place where there was like a holo display, and you would sort of see the various ships in the battle arena. And if you're sitting in that station, you can task the different ships. So like if you had, say on the Corvette, there's 3 fighters on board, and you can task the people who launched on that and say, okay, you go and attack this person over there, you attack that person over there. So it's not quite air traffic control, but it's kind of, sort of air combat operations, I guess would be the best way to describe it. So, not nearly as sophisticated as it is in the real world, but game-wise, it's hopefully will be kind of fun for some people. So that's the idea of the bigger ships, is you're going to have things so all your friends, you can work together and do it cooperatively, which I think is going to be really cool. That's actually one of the things I'm most excited about, is the sort of ships that have, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 people on, and you work together as a team to try and achieve success in battle.
Okay, all right. Next question we got right here with the hookah. Have you seen this? Unbelievable.
By the way, there's a story about that. So we're at the Crytek booth.
You what?
Yeah, we're at the Crytek booth, and he goes, Eric asked for a hookah, and I'm like,
I did not.
he did? I know. He's like, no, it's Shisha. I'm like, oh, it's the German accent. Not a hooker, a hookah.
Well, I mean, if they're offering. Just kidding. All right, yes, sir. And your name on the forums?
Georg, a preacher on the forums.
Preacher on the forums. And what is your question?
Will we be able to smoke hookah on Star Citizen?
Of course, it's a hookah question.
So we haven't necessarily designed for that, but I think that we probably should do something along the line. It won't be that difficult. We'll hookah asset, a little animation. So
Could be a planet that's hookah addicted that needs that supply.
Well, we're gonna have a lamp, so we might as well do that too.
You know where they're going to be hanging out on that planet, right? Let's go over here. Yeah, all right. Let's go to a UEE guy. Yeah, I know it's a pirate. I'm kidding. What's your name? Oh, thank you very much for that. No carbs there. So what's your name on the forums?
Blue 6, or High Admiral Blue 6 in the chat.
All right, High Admiral Blue 6, what is your question?
Since you already confirmed that there's going to be extensive modding support for the community, and we see how creative the community is right now, just using whatever we can find, is there going to be something like a sort of, let's say, SDK or modding tool to make cinematic stuff? Like if we want to make our own short movie in the universe, can we actually use in-game assets, like within the SDK or whatever you're going to supply, just to make little, Star Citizen movies? Because I think lots of people want to tell lots of stories like that.
Did you get that, Chris?
Can we make movies in-game using your SDK tools for the modders?
Yeah. Okay. So the answer would be yes. We will definitely have tools to let you do sort of in-engine cinematic. So we'll probably provide some of the tools we use. It won't have all the sophistication of, because we're going to do full performance capture, but definitely having a character go from one place to another and capturing different action and battles and cut it together would be very cool. I'm actually kind of pretty interested to see what the community will come up with, because that's generally some of the funnest stuff that you see on other games.
Hello, Citizen. How are you?
I'm Griffin from the forums.
All right, Griffin, what's your question?
So I'm a captain of Idris, and will I be able to see the last torpedo when all my crew bailed, hitting my bridge? Like yeah.
Will the captain be able to go down with his ship as he sees the last torpedo come in?
Well, I think the captain should always be able to go down with the ship. So yes.
That's great. Thanks a lot.
Just for the record, the better captains don't go down. Their ships don't go down. They survive. They survive. Let's go over here a little bit. Yes, sir. We'll get you. What's your name, sir?
Waffle milk.
Waffle what?
Milk.
Waffle milk. What's your question, sir?
I know that we will use hydrogen as a propellant for intersolar travel, but what fuel do we use for the jump points? Do we need more antimatter for our antimatter engine if we jump from one point to another?
That's actually a good question. So generally, we weren't necessarily thinking that the jump engines required fuel. It just sort of opened up a rift in space, and that's how you went through it. So in these systems, you require fuel to basically propel you in a more conventional manner. So I guess the answer would be no, you don't need it for jump points, just for in-system travel.
Okay.
All right, cool. Next, yes, sir. What's your name on the forums?
I'm Schism on the
Schism?
forums.
And your question, sir?
So, what steps are being taken within Cloud Imperium to prevent the missions like go there, shoot somebody, come back. Go there, shoot somebody, go back. Like more of problems that modern MMOs are facing to keep things interesting, story and mission-wise.
So basically, you're saying you don't want the boring grinding missions that you get in most MMOs.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess several things. First of all, my personal opinion, like whenever I've tried to play like a lot of MMOs, I hate it when it's like sort of very basic grinding because I sort of feel like I'm doing busy work. So it should be kind of the same way that, say, Privateer or Freelancer felt in a lot of ways, where it was kind of fun even to do basic missions. But like we have a really big focus on combination of in the big world, there's going to be a lot of sort of player-generated action and intrigue, and then also the economy itself in terms of how the worlds and the systems work. They're generating sort of missions. So, you know, if you're a player going around, you can sort of do missions that are basically kind of something you'd be interested in. So if you're someone that wants to be a trader, you can go and be taking goods from one planet to another planet. If you're someone that wants to be doing combat, then you can be taking on missions where you got to hunt someone down, or you got to fly protection for someone. So generally, the missions should be getting generated by the world and the economy and the other players, and I'm hoping that will be more interesting. I mean, obviously, we'll have to play it to see it, but generally, I don't want busy work. Like, I hate the MMOs where you go out there and you're like literally killing low-level creatures, and you got to do it again and 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 again, and then maybe you can get like a really crappy sword. So that is something we will definitely not have in Star Citizen.
Like you are the defeater of this dragon here, but could you grab these 5 apples for me, please?
Well, yeah, but you mean yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to say, but I think all most of the missions you can do will make sense in terms of the world. So, like, if you're talking about a fantasy MMO, like one of the problems is you go out and you basically start killing orcs and goblins because they drop like gold or they drop magic weapons. But like, there's no ecosystem of those orcs and goblins were manufacturing those weapons or mining the gold. Whereas the difference in the Star Citizen universe is anything that people have, the ships they have, the weapons they have, will all have to be created inside the system. So like when your ship gets destroyed or you use missiles in that star system, you'll have to go and buy them again from a factory that manufactures them that has goods. And if there's way too much combat happening in that star system, you may actually go to the store and they're out of missiles or they're out of ships or whatever, and you'll have to go somewhere else, or you'll have to wait for them to show up later on. And so it's a slightly different, like everything that happens that you can buy or sell or things that happen are generated inside the economic system. And I'm hoping that will make the universe feel a bit more real and tangible and make more sense. So we'll see, but I mean that's the concept.
Okay, cool. All right, and your name, sir?
Karen with double R.
Karen with double R, and your question?
Yeah, the question is, which just came up, a small question. What will the landing process be for carriers and the Idris Corvette? Will it be automatic landing, or will we also have the ability to land manual? With little ships?
Okay, you're definitely going to have the ability to land manually. And it may even be you'll have to land manually no matter what. So, although landing isn't, I don't think with a ship that has equivalent of VTOL, you're not gonna. It's not quite as different as landing on a carrier in the middle of the night in present day conditions. But generally, probably we haven't determined, so we'll see. So maybe there'll be auto landing, or maybe you'll have to do it manually, or maybe it's an upgrade for your flight control system. But you'll definitely have the option to always land manually.
Okay. Next question in the blue. Yes, sir. And your name on the forums? Foxhound. Something in England they're familiar with.
Similar to Wing Commander 3, are you voice casting a love interest for the Squadron 42 storyline?
So for Squadron 42, we're definitely we're working on the story that I think everyone's gonna like a lot. And it's, I would say, at a higher level than what I did on Wing 3 and Wing 4 in terms of story and narrative. So I'm working with a lot of people I've made my films with, and we're going to do something really great. And there potentially will be a love interest, but the difference between what we're going to do on Squadron 42 than what we did on Wing 3 and Wing 4 is the relationships that you have with the different characters or wingmen that you have on board the ship are going to be more about your personal choice. So in Wing 3 or 4, it sort of was more determined. You basically, you went this way or that way, and it was sort of forcing you down a path. And this is kind of optional. Do you like this wingman, and do you foster a relationship with this wingman, or over here do you prefer this wingman? And it'll be sort of player choices. And then
the relationship that you have with the different characters aboard the ship will sort of determine like how they grow to like you and what their relationship is with you, and then later on it may have an effect on both either the story or the gameplay. So if you get along really well with someone later in the game, they may basically put their own life at risk to try and save you in a mission, whereas normally they wouldn't have done that. Yeah, I mean, we call it sort of relationship management. So, I mean, it's set up in such a way that it's more similar to Wing Commander 1 in the way that you could finish the game and all your wingmen could be dead, and you could still finish you don't need to have this character at the end of the game. But it's sort of up to you on like which relationships you foster and develop. So hopefully it will feel more immediate and more real. That's kind of the goal. So.
Okay, I'm going to go right over here for this next question. Yes, sir, your name on the forums?
Nox.
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 NOX, that's the easiest one I've had so
Yes,
far.
yes.
And what's is your question hard though with an easy name?
What?
No, nothing, go ahead, ask your question.
Okay, it's somewhat related though.
Okay.
In their games where it's all about getting your heritage, your dynasty, your family to victory, and if you die and you have a son who's too young to take over, the game's over. So obviously that's not going to happen in Star Citizen or in Squadron 42. But you proclaimed in Death of a Spaceman that if you die too often, you will have a permadeath and someone will inherit your legacy. Is there something planned to, like getting a girlfriend, getting a son, who has more advantage of getting the heir or being the heir, like paying no taxes or something like that, or would that be a good 80 million goal?
So the concept is, as a character, you go through and you essentially have a life, and you can age, and after too many deaths or close calls, or however you want to do it, your body gives out, and then from then it will pass on to your heir or next of kin, and it's kind of up to you as a player who that's going to be. So you can imagine or make your next of kin the son or the daughter, or maybe just someone you knew that you would leave it to, and it's sort of up to the player's choice. But the idea is to have a kind of legacy. So my hope is, as you play the game, you play it, and there's like you've only got so long to try and achieve great things. So, find a jump point or kill a really tough pirate lord or something like that. And it's almost like you can go back. So I would hope that players would sort of like go, okay, well, I have a family legacy, and it's just like in the real world that you would go, okay, well, my father fought in this war and was a hero, and I need to be in, sign up for the UEE military and also be a hero or something like that. And but in terms of who that successor is, it's sort of up to the player to choose it, and however the player wants to determine it. So they could say, okay, well, I really see this as a son or a cousin or a daughter, or they could just say, oh, it's just someone else. It's completely up to the player to determine who that successor is. And generally, you would create that once your character has died, and you sort of step into the shoes or the roles of your successor, and it's up to you to sort of name that person and go from there.
But it's just like writing. It's not like we have to find an NPC or another player to mate with and get a son.
No, you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to actually find a relationship. Get someone pregnant or anything like that. No.
Wait, what's wrong with mating with NPCs? Let's find next question. Yeah, in the orange back here. Yes, sir. Hold on. Let's think through here, guys. Your name on the forum, sir?
Omri Khan.
Omri Khan? Okay, ask your question.
Yeah, so it kind of relates to his question about dying, because I read about maybe like losing limbs and stuff, so you'd have like a cybernetic limb instead. And I wondered, is it possible to start with a cybernetic limb for like role-playing or aesthetic reasons?
I haven't thought about that. I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe you could get yourself blown up and then get an artificial limb. I don't know, actually, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a bit early to sort of make a decision on that. I mean, the idea that we just had was that, actually most of the times if you lose a battle, you will probably eject and you actually won't even lose a life. But the idea is if you didn't get to eject or someone shoots you in space, that's kind of you have that sort of, you lose a life, and you only have so many of those before you properly die. And to sort of see how close you are to, I guess, the point that your character will pass on, that was kind of the idea, to see whether you had scars or you had an artificial limb. but I haven't really thought about sort of starting a character off with an artificial limb. So it's something to think about. So I don't have a good answer for you right now.
All right. Next question's back over here again. And your name, sir, on the forums?
And the forums, it's Knack und Back. In German, it's in English like break and bake.
Break and bake.
Break and bake. My question is, are there any plans for big container ships or cargo ships that are only for carrying goods from one planet to a space station or something like this, or for modules like medicine modules on other ships, or faster, really heavy armored, so that they can bring the goods really safe to one place? Yeah.
Okay, so well, the Starfarer is a pretty big ship. I think we during the live stream sort of showed some of the concept work for it, but I mean it's pretty large. I mean it's a ship that's as big as it's almost as big as the Corvette, and it's all about cargo. So right now it's the biggest sort of player ownable cargo ship, and it will shift a lot of cargo. There will probably be some bigger ships in that do the same kind of things that are sort of NPC driven in the game. But there's definitely going to be big cargo ships in it. I mean, we're going to have a whole simulated universe and economy. So you'll have, ships going from planet, taking goods, taking raw materials, going back and forth. I mean, everything in the universe is meant to, like, you could have no one playing the game and you could just be the only person in it, and you can fly around and you'll see the universe basically simulating. So people manufacturing goods, taking it to another planet, selling it, consuming it, et cetera, et cetera. So we're definitely going to have a lot of ships that haul cargo.
Okay, cool. You have a question?
Yeah, I do.
And your name on the forums?
Yeah, on the forums is Hiromatsu. The handle is
Hiromatsu. We've had your questions before on Wingman's Hangar.
Yeah, you're right there. Okay, now, recently we talked about arena modes. And I was wondering if there is any kind of stages in the tournaments, if there is a 1 versus 1, or if it's all against one until the last man is standing, or how you try to put that up.
Okay, so the questions about the arena mode that we talked about. So the kind of the idea with arena mode is a little bit like, if you remember the original Wing Commander, there was the arcade machine that you could like play and sort of practice before you actually got out there in a mission. So there's a little bit of that in arena mode. And the other thing that we were thinking was that it would be a good place that people could fly to sort of try tricks or without taking their ships out there and risking losing all the stuff they have. And that's kind of what we're going to run when we go to the dogfighting module. And the idea of arena mode. And then we've been sort of toying with the idea of making, I don't know whether you want to say esports, but the idea that you have different kinds of competitions, and you would have the sort of solo competition, the team competition. So like a team competition would be each team has a certain number of points, and also the ships you pick are worth different points. So like an Aurora will be maybe worth 1 point, but maybe a Constellation is worth 10 points or something. And each team gets to spend their points, have so many ships, and then whichever team gets to 100 points wins the match. And of course, if you blow a Constellation up, it's 10 points, but if you blow an Aurora up, it's 1 point, right? So, yeah, exactly. So we were thinking that we would have kind of classes that would be, only one kind of ship, like sort of NASCAR is a good example in America for that. And then you would have unlimited, like anyone can come with anything they want. So we were going to play around with it. We think it would be kind of fun. I mean, for a start, one of the goals with the dogfighting module and what we do is, like I said, my goal is when we make this game that everyone has as much fun during the process of making the game, that by the time we finish it, everyone feels like they had their money's worth in backing it just from us, making it. So making things like the dogfighting module fun and some of the latest stuff fun. So that's kind of why we want to do more stuff with the arena, and long term I think it'd be good for the game. I mean, we're going to do stuff also when the game's finished, like racing, like you'll be able to compete in the Winston Cup and all these other things. So it's a big universe. It's going to be fun.
Cool. All right.
Just keep on doing it like that. You cannot go wrong.
Okay, thank you. All right, I understand everything.
All right. Just get it done tomorrow, right? Go. Yeah. So what's your name on the forums?
Okay, my name is Tille, Tille. And my question is, we talked before about hit zones so that you can target certain systems, and you also talked about being able to enter opponent ship with a docking collar. Is it? Are you able to only dock with the docking collar at the air dock, or are you able to explicitly point at certain vulnerable systems? So there's a certain ship type, and the main entry line is running from there to there. Can I explicitly dock with my docking collar exactly on the power line? For the aviation, for instance.
Okay, so I guess there's two questions there. One is like, how are you going to dock with another ship? Yeah. So currently, there's the simple way is you'll definitely be able to dock where there's docking collars, and if people don't want you on, you'll have to like break your way in and blow them up. I'd like to have some options that you could maybe like cut through a hole in a place, but that's potentially, I mean, it's a lot more complicated because, you know, well, just also, yeah, how you go in, and if we build a ship, we have to make sure that you would be able to enter in any area, and that's actually pretty complicated. So maybe you could go through the airlock, and maybe there's a couple other places that we would designate that you could get through. We haven't 100% fully decided on that yet, but my preference would be to make it more than just the airlock if we can. And then like on the targeting the systems, which is slightly different. I mean, the idea is that you know where the various systems are on a ship. So for instance, if you knew where the power plant is on a certain ship, or you knew where the life support was on a certain ship, or the avionics system was on a certain ship, if you're fighting against that ship and you've knocked down the shields and you've knocked down the armor, you know to hit that place. The way the engine works, the way the system works, is when your shot goes through the hull of the armor, it's actually doing collision checking against the actual physical system. So we actually place all the ship systems in the ship properly. So it's not that there's just like 10 systems inside a ship, and once you go through the armor, we roll a dice, and 1 to 10 depends on which system you get hit. It would be like literally if the life support system's in the middle and your shot goes through the middle and hits it, you do damage to the life support system, and then all of a sudden, you maybe have, whatever air you've got left in your spacesuit. So there should be a little level of skill involved in that, and if you sort of know what different ships have, maybe okay, this is where this critical system is, and I can target that direction.
Okay, two more questions. We'll get you guys one over here, one here, right here. Stand up, please, sir. And your name on the forums?
My name on the forum is Bier, and I got a question about the economy. We got a lot of information that the economy will be very in deep and based on the demand. So what will happen if a big clan gets into a system, lock it completely down with like 5 Idrises or like a really big fleet, crush the system down so everything starts to corrode away, and then buy up the whole system for cheap because the prices are low? Is something like that possible in the game?
So that's a good question. I mean, it's more difficult, say, in the way that our game runs, since everybody's not always going to there's multiple instances. We can't have everybody all in the same place at the same time. It's actually going to be pretty hard for someone to completely lock a system down in that situation. But we actually do want a situation where a group of players could have a significant impact on a localized system. We never want to have a group of players have an impact on the whole universe, because that would be problematic, and also it probably wouldn't be that realistic. But we definitely would like to have a group of players get together and then maybe sort of try and monopolize a corner a system. But then also we're going to have some sort of other forces that would be involved, so it should never be easy to do anything, right? So like the goal with Star Citizen is, I always see a lot of debate about like pay to win or something like that, and I'm like, there is no win in this game. I mean, it should be like life, and you basically want to be on top. So if you're a clan or something, or a guild, you want to like have, I don't know, whatever, you want to own a planet or a system and do something. But even if you manage to achieve that, everybody else is trying to take that thing from you, just like in real life. And so it's kind of a balance that we still have to figure out some of the pluses and minuses of it. So it won't be like Eve, where you could completely lock down a system or completely lock down a jump point. But we are definitely going to have sort of the ability for people to have a large amount of influence or control a lot of the trade in a particular system. But I don't have a particularly great answer to say exactly this is the way it's going to happen, because that's still sort of in the thinking and the design stage.
All right. Last question. And your name, sir, is?
Corlash16 on the forums, and my question is about performance-enhancing drugs. Is there going to be any in-game that will offer you perhaps increased reaction time, and then offer a downside after so much time has passed that you have decreased reaction time or something of that effect? And what also I was thinking is maybe it would offer a smuggling option in the game, since these drugs probably won't be illegal with the police.
Well, we're definitely going to have narcotics in the game. I don't know. So, I mean, the performance-enhancing drugs are kind of difficult because the game's sort of skill-based. So it's not, you know, it's not like a typical MMO where you would basically just say, okay, well, here's your skill level and your dexterity is +5 now that you've taken this drug, because it's based on how good of a pilot you are. So probably there isn't performance-enhancing drugs in that manner. Although we're going to have the idea of G-forces, like when you're flying around and you're pulling really hard maneuvers, and there's only so much your body can take until you, red out, black out, and all the rest of stuff. So I think there may be, and I'm only spitballing here because I haven't even been thinking about it, but that would be a situation where, like, if you took something, maybe instead of 9G, you could take 12G or something, and that would give you an advantage in a battle for a brief period of time, but after that, you could only take 6G or something. So that would potentially be something, so it's potentially a good idea. So I'll think about that. Maybe we'll do something like that.
All right. I want to thank Chris for doing the live forum feedback, everyone, huh? How about that?
And by the way, what we should do is we should thank everyone here for coming out. Thank you very much for supporting the game. Unbelievable. I have to tell you, I mean, I took a break from making games, but I made games for a very long time, and I have to say that it is the most energizing and exciting experience I've ever had making a game this way. Everyone that makes the game at our company and all the people that are on contract love what they're doing, but the fact that you actually see how much everyone loves what this kind of game is and are so excited by what we're doing and wants to participate and support it, it makes you want to work twice as hard, and there's no way we're making a bad game. So thank you very much, everybody.
Wow, that was probably the best forum feedback ever. I know Chris and I had a great time doing it. The fans really liked it. But now it's time for our own Ben Lisnick and this week's Most Valuable Post.
Hey everyone, Ben Lesnick here with your MVP, Most Valuable Post. This week the honor goes to a thread called The Meat and Potatoes of Game Testing by Acuta73. This is a really cool thread in preparation for the Hangar module that tells you how we actually test games, and it lets you have some tools and other information that are going to help us test the Hangar module, because we're going to want your feedback in the next weeks as we patch it and get it running great. On a more personal note, I want to thank everybody who came out to Cologne. It was an amazing experience, especially Pleasure and Zane, who gave me this awesome wedding present, Ben and Allie dolls. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm going to be at Dragon Con along with our excellent writer, Dave Haddock, this weekend, so stop by the booth and see us there. Have a good one.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate that. And now, today, since it's Jump Point Friday, it's time for our own Alistaire Fitzsmithy and his dramatic reading from this month's Jump Point magazine.
Guten Tag, or depending on your worldview, Guten Abend, Guten Morgen. Today's excerpt is from episode 2 of The Cup by Robert E. Waters. Hypatia Daring and Zogat Ghoul took a turn around a corner toward the carrier's mess. It was a good idea to get a full meal before the mini jumped to LS4. But there stood 3 humans wrapped in dark clothing to match the faint light of the corridor. They did not hesitate. One pulled a knife and slashed toward Daring's throat.
She leaned back instinctively and felt the wind of the man's brutal attack across her chin. The blade did not find flesh, however, and she tumbled back against the wall. The other two were on Ghoul immediately, but the Devaran moved quickly, subduing one in a headlock and guarding off the fists of the other. Daring tried to get to him, but her assailant was not finished. He slashed again with his blade, this time toward her stomach. She knocked his arm back, then drove her fist into his kidney. As the man lurched back, Darin recognized his face. He was from Motok's entourage. She scowled and drove her boot into his crotch, knocking him to his knees. She leapt at his face, striking twice before he managed to turn, kick out his leg, and swipe her feet from beneath her. Daring fell hard. He was on her again, but this time she was ready. She timed her move, brought her boots up quickly, and flung him across the corridor. She rose to pursue, but the body of another assailant flew over her head and hit the wall. She looked to Ghoul and found him making mincemeat of the third man's face. His companions, clearly not wishing further punishment, collected themselves and dashed away. Ghoul released the third man, pushed him back against the wall. Daring tried to move against the assailant, but despite his mangled face, he got away from her grasp, grabbed his blade, and shot away down the corridor. Ghoul slipped down the wall, holding a bloody slash across his stomach. Daring rushed to him. "Bastards," she said, trying to help him to his feet. "Bloody bastards! Come on, let's get you to the hospital." Ghoul shook his head and pushed her away. "No, I've had worse. Just get me to my crew." The story continues in issue number 9 of Jump Point. I'm Alistaire Fitzsmithy. Guten Tag, guten Abend, guten Morgen und auf Wiedersehen.
Wow, thank you for the most incredible reading by Alistaire. And by the way, thanks a lot. This pretty much wraps up the show this week. Thanks a lot to subscribers. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do the show. Thanks to pledgers. Without you guys and subscribers, we wouldn't be able to do any of this. This is incredible. One of the coolest things is going out there and getting to meet folks directly and all sharing a vision. I hope we get to do some of those events all over the world because that is... the energy is palatable. You just feel it. It just energizes you, makes you want to work harder. I mean, I got in last night at 8 or 9 o'clock, came right to the office. It was like 4 in the morning for me, but we have this hangar to get out. And so it's kind of like people are really, really killing themselves for this. And that's another thing. Thanks a lot to the teams out there in Monterey and Santa Monica and Austin and Montreal and everywhere else that really are killing themselves to get this hangar out to you guys. And we will continue to, we know we have expectations of high ones to meet. We have high standards ourselves. We're there to meet it. We will not let you down. That is a guarantee. Thanks a lot to Pleasure, Zane, Kaji-san, Debt Collector, Aereo, Noctulus, who shot the video for us the whole time that you guys are looking at. He was an amazing help. He was walking around at, really had a great time. He also got a bottle of scotch, which is now gone, unfortunately, but was really good. And a big thanks to Christoph Peelin. Christoph drove us around, along with Noctulus, to all these places to get the stuff we needed to bring the hangar event to you live on Saturday. Christoph ended up having to buy the monitors for us, which we, of course, are going to pay him back for. But it was like they wouldn't take our credit card. Don't know what the deal was there. What is wrong with our credit? But anyway, he was amazing. He helped us out. He organized the whole venue. We were there all day Saturday, wiring things, setting things up. The Aftershall was an amazing place. Did I say that right, Mike? How did you say it? Altershall. Altershall. We're not sure, but it was really Alterfall. Either way, it was really fun and exciting. Thanks a lot to Sandy Gardner for coming up with the idea of having this big event. And a big thanks to Travis Day for organizing all of that on our end. Him and Michael Moreland over here helped organize all that, got all the things in order so that we could bring the show to you. Have you a live event. We weren't sure that was going to be able to happen. That's why we didn't advertise it. It was like last minute. We had to get the internet put in there so that we could do it. It all worked out. Unbelievable. That seems to be the way. You're like, oh, I don't know, is it going to work? And then boom, it all comes together at the last minute, and it's just incredibly fun. Coming up this week, later on today, we have Jump Point Magazine coming up with subscribers. If the hangar was not enough, you got Jump Point coming out. The Hangar app is again on the street. Patches will be coming soon because this is pre. Did I mention pre? Alpha. And today, later on, Voyager Direct. with Imperials. What is that? That's kind of our new cash shop or shop where you can go buy stuff, you know, add your Imperials in there, and then you can buy stuff in the shop. We're giving everybody 5,000 Imperial credits, so you can go buy posters or whatever you want, put it in there. Remember, anything you buy with that stuff will be part of the persistent infinite final universe when you get it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know, you want to get the latest and greatest videos and things we're doing, join us there. Come submit your questions in the RSI forum, little whatever's going on there. Come put them in the RSI forum. We'll put up a little tag right there. That's where you submit your questions, your videos, things like that we want to use for the Hangar show. Join us for Wingman's Hangover about 15 minutes after the show, where we'll talk directly in chat roll with the chat Rulians. You know who you are. I met a lot of you in Germany. Unbelievable experience. Join us there. We'll have a little intimate chat with what's going on. I'll give you a little insight and how the Hangar shot and what's going on with a little more info. If you want to join chat roll, see what's going on, 15 minutes after the show. And of course, we're going to close this week's show with, well...
There we go. All right, this is going to be me, Eric. I'm going to go to this side right here. I'm going to zoom in on you.
Okay.
And action.
Well, that's our show for the week. I want to thank pledgers and subscribers for sure for letting us do this kind of thing. As you can see around us, we've got an incredible community. We're very, very lucky. Thanks to Chris, thanks to the Roundtable, especially thanks to Chris, thanks to Sandy for organizing these kind of events. This has been an amazing experience, and it's humbling, it's incredible. The fans, you just get chill bumps when you meet them. And all I can say is, well, where are we going to see you? In the